All right, welcome back. So today we are back on the Tmaxx. So what I got to do, because I did a fuel change to this RC, is I got to get it tuned so that I don't have any more issues. Now the big problem with switching fuels is that every fuel manufacturer does things differently, and not by choice have I changed fuels. So just so we can be clear, when I originally bought this, I bought this from my hobby store. And at the time, my hobby store sold Tmaxx fuel. Well, then my hobby store switched to VP fuel. So after the break-in, I went ahead and switched to VP fuel. After the 5 tanks, after the break-in, and went ahead and switched over to VP, dialed it in for that, and then it sat for 10, 11 months. With all that said, my hobby store then changed fuels again on me. And as you see, Sidewinder fuel, RC fuel, they switched again. This is a Backyard Basher, Sidewinder fuel. So we're going to dial it in for this fuel and hope that my hobby store doesn't change brands again. I don't know why they switched to this fuel, but it is what it is. So we're gonna go ahead, power everything up. Gotta get my little screwdriver out. I'm gonna plug this thing in. Just make sure the throttle works, steering works, everything works. As you can see, fires right up. But it's not perfectly dialed in. So we're gonna have to run it without the body. And I'm sure I'm gonna have to start it a few times. So you can tell that the low speed needle is dialed in. This is 24 hours later. Probably more than that because it's later on in the afternoon. It's probably more like 28 hours if this thing's been sitting. Still a little cold. Like the cold start is perfect. Just want to get some temperature in it. Like I said, the tune is very close. Great thing about Nitro, it's really not that hard, and Tmaxx has a whole video on how to tune their RCs on top of their owner's manuals. It just has a little, I think it's a rich spot. but I'm not exactly sure yet. Could be a lean spot. I think it's a rich spot. I'm going to add a little fuel. Just to see, because rich is safer. The other thing I'm going to do is probably turn down the idle. It's not moving. That's good. No hesitation there on takeoff. The hesitation seems gone. I added 1/8 of fuel to the high-speed needle. You could see more fuel or more smoke. What I try to do is just let it idle. It's already burned up a lot of fuel. It's not moving, which is good. No hesitation. We might be good. And I know as the temperature changes to the motor, running conditions are going to change as well. Decent amount of smoke, which is good. It's running quite flawlessly right now. I think the problems I was having towards the end of the day was the fuel was very low. So I could tell it seemed lean, and I think it was just starving for fuel. I think people are showing up to baseball right now, or maybe softball, I'm not sure. I see a few cars showing up, and I see kids out here playing with a softball. So I might have to change my location. Definitely running flawless. Idle's good, finger off the trigger, it's not rolling, clutch isn't engaged. I think we're there. Seems like it anyway. Lean is power, but too lean it will damage it. Definitely running flawless. You can tell, idled the whole time I was putting on the body. No issues. Definitely running perfect now. Brakes are perfect. Gotta love a good nitro. So it was an 1/8 lean on the high-speed needle. And probably low fuel towards the end there yesterday. Little gummed up carb, all cleared up now. Gummed up motor, all clear. I think the fresh fuel cleaned everything out. At least I didn't get past the point of no return. Just want to check the fuel. Temperature is good. And we're out of fuel. Looking for this. So if you pinch the line and it completely shuts off immediately, you're still a little lean. You should be able to count to 3 before it shuts down. It is a little on the lean side. So on the next fire up, we're going to give an 1/8 of a turn and Let me unclip this now that it's shut down. So you should be able to get to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3 before it shuts down after idling. When it doesn't do that, that's letting you know, and it shuts down immediately, that you're a little lean. And that's something Tmaxx talks about on a YouTube video that they made tuning a Tmaxx. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it cool down. We're going to rip it again, but not here. As you can see, that guy is setting up for some soccer training here. So he's going to take up the whole field, and I'm going to let the kids are going to get out of school about 3. Well, they're not even in school. It's 2 now. And I believe this is their normal training time, I guess. So I'm going to get out of their way. But before I do, another little tech tip is oil will get all over your body. See, this is covered in oil. If you don't wipe this off, it's going to become very gummy and your body's going to suffer. So just give it a wipe while it's still hot and wet, and that's going to keep the body inside and outside clean, to get that crud off of there, to get all that oil off while it's still warm and sticky. You can see all that oil you're going to want to get off this body, and you're going to want to get it off that pipe, because when it sticks, then you're really trying to get that oil off when you're home and you're trying to clean it. It's all over the pipe, all over everything, because it does shoot out oil. So just give it a quick wipe after you're done while it's still warm. On the plastic, everything on the exhaust side, the shocks. Try to get most of that oil residue off of everything. I do notice it gets on the wheel here too, this rear wheel. Give the wheel a wipe. If not, when you go to try to clean it with some sort of cleaner, it's going to be very difficult to get off, and you're probably going to damage the shiny finish to the wheel. So I like to give that wheel, because that's the one that gets covered in oil, give it a wipe along with the body, and give the wheel a wipe on the inside as well, because that's also going to be covered in oil. As you see, look at all that oil and dirt, and it's just the one wheel. If not, you'll be fighting with this later. I see a lot of these things used to where the wheel is dull, the body is stained, the exhaust pipe is all stained. Everything that's covered in oil is stained because somebody never wiped it after they ran it. Probably because it was too dirty. It's just something I like to do, just to keep, like I said, this is a brand new RC, and I want it to look brand new for years to come. So the only way to do that is to keep the body nice and the RC nice, with just getting off the oil. Just take a few minutes after you finish running. So now that we got all that wiped off, oh, what I do see is the bumper here covered in oil that I missed. It's another spot where this shiny silver rear bumper will get stained. I do the shocks as best I can. You can't get to everything like this, especially that axle. But just try to get some of it off, just so everything is not staining years down the road. Your chassis will look better, your pipe will look better, everything will look a little better if you just wipe things down a little bit. Not saying it's going to be perfect or brand new, but it's gonna help keep the RC from getting all stained up. I just want to make sure this is off. This is off. We're going to go ahead. move to another location. We'll be back. All right, well, I've been to a couple of parks. They're all full right now. Just too late in the day to finish running this thing, so I'm going to continue this video tomorrow, but figure I'd give you an overview. I haven't made any more adjustments to the needles, whether it's the low speed or the high speed, because at this point we have to determine how it's going to fire up, that kind of stuff. These are all reference points. When I pinch this, it is low on fuel. Did it shut off because it's low on fuel, or did it shut off because it truly does have a lean condition? Now you got to remember, and this is something that maybe it's just me, but years of running nitro, don't be scared of it. Tuning it, I could probably run it this way for years to come. It might be okay. I'm gonna find out once the motor cools down. It's ice cold now because it's been a couple hours, but it could be fine. I just won't know until I fire it back up, make sure it starts okay, make sure that you're, you know, blowing smoke on acceleration. It doesn't have to smoke the whole time you're on the trigger. You just need to see that oil coming out of the exhaust. You're going to get oil on the side of the body. That's just letting you know that the piston and the rod is getting adequate oil, so that you're not going to burn this thing up. The easiest way to tell, watch temperature of the cooling head. That's going to tell you a lot. Keep it within Tmaxx's range and you're going to be safe. And you don't have to keep grabbing a screwdriver and adjusting your nitro. It's one of those things. Now, if you change, you know, areas, if you go up in altitude or down in altitude, yes, you're going to have to adjust your nitro. Just a little bit turns, eighth turn, quarter turn at a time. Very minimal. If you have to make drastic changes, start over. Start with Tmaxx's baseline setting and just start over if you get lost. Low speed needle should never have to be adjusted, basically, from the way it comes from Tmaxx's. The other thing to take in account is, you know, fuel. Like I'm saying, if you switch fuel or can't find the fuel, you know, that you've been running, just, you know, put the fuel in and make the minor modification. It's not that big of a deal. Nitro is truly really easy. I see video after video of people just constantly adjusting it, idle surging, can't get it to start. Just, you know, if you read the manual or you watch a video from the manufacturer, they're gonna give you great advice. And that's it. Get out there and just have fun. Rip it. That's why I don't like running with the body off. Once the low speed needle is set, you can get to the high speed needle through this, right in here. You can get to your fuel right through here. The body doesn't have to come off. You can get to the on and off switch through the side of the body, and that's it. And just tank after tank. You know, if you run it out of fuel, it's not that big of a deal. Just make sure there's no sludge in the bottom of your tank, and when you put it up, make sure that that tank is clean and dry, your fuel lines are empty, and there's no fuel in the motor, basically. And make sure there's no fuel sitting in the carburetor. There's always going to be a little bit of residue, but if you just take the wand after all the fuel is out and just sit there and hold it and pump any excess that's out of it, you should be okay. And you can put in after run oil and, you know, go from there. Like I said, I've had my Jado, I think, was 10 years and I never changed the glow plug once. When you start burning up glow plugs or fouling out glow plugs, it's because your tune is just way far off. Glow plugs don't fail just because. They fail usually from lean conditions, that they're getting too hot, that the oil's not cooling them off. So glow plugs will last a long time. You don't have to change them. and just go out, run, have fun, you know, get some tanks through it. I don't know what else to say, but stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Let's see if this thing fires right up, and see if our tune is off. I believe we're at the point where, you know, my rule of thumb is if I can idle it for, you know, a couple of minutes, hit the trigger, the thing does a wheelie, doesn't bog, doesn't hesitate, any of that, my tune is probably where I want it. If it doesn't wheelie, then, you know, I'm probably a little fat. So if it's not blowing any smoke out of it, I'm probably, you know, a little too lean, and I can be causing damage. As long as you're seeing smoke, you should be good. But there we go. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Let's see if this thing fires right back up, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.